and welcome to the 2021 Euroquiz Heats. My name's Jane, and I work for SEAT, the Scottish European Educational Trust. The coronavirus pandemic has meant that we've all had to adapt to new ways of living and learning, both in school and at home. Offering projects online has been a big change for us here at SEAT, just like it has for you, but we're really pleased to welcome you all to our very first digital Euroquiz Heats. We'd like to thank you and your teachers for adapting so well to the situation and for taking part virtually in Euroquiz today. Even though we're all currently living our lives separated from one another, we're delighted that you have all shown such a great interest in looking outward and learning about all the countries and cultures and languages of our neighbours in Europe and in the wider world. This interest in other cultures will serve you really well in your futures as global citizens and could open up so many exciting opportunities for you. Although taking part remotely, pupils from all corners of Scotland will be tuning in to take part in the Euroquiz Heats this year. So from us here at SEAT, to those of you watching and taking part online, we hope you really enjoy today's event and congratulate you all for representing your schools in the 2021 Euroquiz Heats. I'll now hand over to Alex, who'll tell you a little bit more about the format of today's event. Bonjour Alex!
Merci Jane, et salut tout le monde! Hi, my name's Alex and I'm here to talk to you about the format of the event today. The 2021 Euroquiz Heat has 4 rounds in total. You will have 1 answer sheet per round and all questions will be answered in your teams. Remember to write your school name at the top of each individual answer paper. Please also try to spell as well as you can. However, spelling will not count against you as long as your meaning is clear. We'll start with round 1, which has 15 questions on geography and history. We'll then move on to round 2, the language round, where you'll get the chance to show off your linguistic talents. Again, there are 15 questions for you to answer. The first 10 of these questions are spoken language questions that will test your listening skills in German, Italian, Spanish and French, followed by 5 reading questions. These questions have been made in partnership with the Education Scotland, the Goethe Institute and SILT, Scotland's National Centre for Languages, and they've all been recorded by native speakers. This will be followed by round 3, Understanding Europe, which focuses on culture and European affairs. This round also has 15 questions. Round 4, which is general knowledge, is the final round, and again you'll be asked 15 questions to answer in your teams. These could be on anything Europe related. After each round, we will take you through the correct answers whilst your papers are being marked by your teacher. You must not make any changes to your answers at this stage. The scores will then be given to your local authority contact, who will announce the results. The team in the lead will be invited to represent their local authority at the 2021 Euroquiz final. Well done for representing your school in Euroquiz 2021. We hope you enjoy yourselves today and best of luck. We'll now hand over to our quizmaster Mark, who is going to take us through today's questions. Hola Mark.
Hola Alex, hola a todos, bonjour à tous, buenos dias a todos, buongiorno a tutti, hej allihopa, hallo zusammen, hello and a very, very warm welcome on my part to this Euroquiz 2021. Now, it's my job, I've got the honour of presenting the questions today. I'm the quizmaster for this quiz and I'm really looking forward to working through all of the questions with you. As Alex explained, I'm going to be asking you the questions, you've got your answer sheets, you're going to be writing down the answers on your answer sheet, and then after each round we'll go through the answers together. Now, I've had the honour of doing many Euroquizzes over the years in person, and this time it's a little bit different. We are doing a virtual version, and I really hope that you all enjoy taking part. I know that you've been working very hard on learning lots and lots about all aspects of Europe, about places, about people, about languages and so on, and it's now time to put that knowledge to the test. So without further ado, let's get straight on with round 1. So for each of the rounds, the questions will appear on the screen. Sometimes there will be images to look at, and you'll be asked the questions, and then you need to write down the correct answer. If it's a multiple choice question, just write down A, B, or C. Let's get started with question number 1. First of all, what is the capital of Malta? What is the capital of Malta? Time to move on to question 2. What is pictured here? Is it A, the Norwegian fjords, B, the Austrian Alps, or C, the Swiss Alps? So what do you see in this image here? Is it A, the Norwegian fjords, B, the Austrian Alps, or C, the Swiss Alps? Let's move on to question 3. Which country is shaped like a fish? Is it A, Slovenia, B, Belgium, or C, Romania? Which country is shaped like a fish? A, Slovenia, B, Belgium, or C, Romania? Moving on to question 4. The earliest Europeans were hunter-gatherers and lived during the Stone Age. What do we call the time period following the Stone Age? And it's the something age. So you just need to write down the word that's missing there. The earliest Europeans were hunter-gatherers and lived during the Stone Age. What do we call the time period following the Stone Age? Remember, as you're writing down the answers, make sure you're speaking only very quietly or whispering to your teammates, okay? Let's move on. Question number 5. Which Swiss city has a monument marking the point where the borders of France, Germany, and Switzerland meet? Is it A, Geneva, B, Zurich, or C, Basel? Which Swiss city has a monument marking the point where the borders of France, Germany, and Switzerland meet? A, Geneva, B, Zurich, or C, Basel? Okay, let's move on to question 6. The flag of which country has vertical stripes in the colours black, yellow, and red from left to right? Is it A, Estonia, B, Germany, or C, Belgium? The flag of which country has vertical stripes in the colours black, yellow, and red, left to right? A, Estonia, B, Germany, or C, Belgium? Let's move on. Question 7. In which European capital would you find this landmark? And it's called the Charles Bridge. In which European capital would you find this landmark, the Charles Bridge? Okay, time to move on to question 8. What is the name of the ancient city that was buried under ash after the catastrophic eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD? What is the name of the ancient city that was buried under ash after the catastrophic eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD? Let's move on to question 9. Which of these is a former communist country? A. Spain, B. Poland, or C. Luxembourg? Which of these is a former communist country? A. Spain, B. Poland, or C. Luxembourg? Question 10. What is the name of this European animal, also formerly part of the endangered species list in the Iberian Peninsula? I'll say that again. What is the name of this European animal, also formerly part of the endangered species list in the Iberian Peninsula? Let's move on to our next question. This is number 11. The Great Famine in Ireland in the 1840s was principally caused by a disease that affected which food crop? The Great Famine in Ireland in the 1840s was principally caused by a disease that affected which food crop? Moving on to question 12. The Normans, or Northmen, were Vikings who settled in which country before conquering England in 1066? Was it A. France, B. Spain, or C. the Czech Republic? I'll say that again. The Normans, or Northmen, were Vikings who settled in which country before conquering England in 1066? Was it A. France, B. Spain, or C. the Czech Republic? Question 13 now. Svalbard is an archipelago in the Arctic Ocean belonging to which country? Svalbard is an archipelago in the Arctic Ocean belonging to which country? Moving on to question 14. Europe was named after Europa, a Phoenician princess from which ancient civilization? One more time. Europe was named after Europa, a Phoenician princess from which ancient civilization? And our final question for this round, number 15. In which year did the deadly virus known as Spanish flu break out, affecting around half the world's population? Was it 1918, 1937, or 1949? In which year did the deadly virus known as Spanish flu break out, affecting around half the world's population? A. 1918, B. 1937, or C. 1949? Okay, now that is the end of round 1. And what we need you to do is hand your answer sheet to your teacher, and then we'll take you through the answers for this round. Remember that you're under strict Euroquiz conditions and you cannot make any changes to your paper at this point. So let's now look at the answers for round 1. Let's begin with question number 1. What is the capital city of Malta? The capital city of Malta is Valletta. Number 2. What is pictured here with high mountains and deep fjords? It's the Norwegian fjords. Okay, that's 2A. Question 3. Which country is shaped like a fish? You've got a clue there on the map. The country shaped like a fish is Romania. Question 4. The earliest Europeans were hunter-gatherers and lived during the Stone Age, but the period following the Stone Age is called the Bronze Age. Moving on, question 5. Which Swiss city has a monument marking the point where the borders of France, Germany and Switzerland meet? Well, the only one of those 3 cities that's on the border of France, Germany and Switzerland is Basel. Okay, so that's question 5. Let's move on to question 6. The flag of which country has vertical stripes in the colours black, yellow and red, left to right? Well, the correct answer there is Belgium. So left to right, black, yellow and red. If you were thinking Germany, they go from top to bottom. So this one is Belgium, C, 6C. Looking on to question 7. In which European capital city would you find this landmark? The Charles Bridge can be found in Prague, in the Czech Republic. It's a beautiful bridge. Let's go on to question 8. What is the name of the ancient city that was buried under ash after the catastrophic eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD? It was, of course, Pompeii in Italy. Okay, question 9. Which of these is a former communist country? The answer there is B, Poland. Question 10. What is the name of this European animal? This animal is a lynx. Question 11. The Great Famine in Ireland in the 1840s was principally caused by a disease that affected the potato. Question 12. The Northmen, the Normans or Northmen were Vikings who settled in France, A, before conquering England in 1066. Question 13. Svalbard is an archipelago in the Arctic Ocean belonging to which country? It belongs to Norway, and I've always wanted to go there. Maybe someday I'll get to travel to Svalbard. Question 14. Europe was named after Europa, a Phoenician princess from ancient Greece. And question 15, the final one in round 1. The Spanish flu broke out in 1918, A. So there we have the end of round 1. Okay, it's time for the languages round. And I have to say, this is probably my favourite round of the Euroquiz. I am very lucky to be able to work in languages. So I run a company that makes language courses. We make language courses for children and for adults. And we have language courses in 31 languages from Arabic to Zulu. So every single day I get to speak different languages with the people I work with. And I love learning new languages. I think it's so important to be able to learn a language and speak to the world. You can make friends, you can travel, you can enjoy your holidays more and so on. Lots of opportunities by learning different languages. And you also understand your own language more. And that's very important too. So to help you understand other people, other cultures, you have been learning some languages, and we're going to put this to the test in this round. Now, what's going to happen is we'll put the questions on the screen, and then you're going to be listening to other people say these phrases in their own language. And for this round, I'm very pleased to be joined by some friends and colleagues. And I would like to introduce you first of all to Andrea. Hallo Andrea, wie geht's?
Hallo Marc, mir geht's gut, danke. Und dir?
Mir geht's ausgezeichnet, danke. So you can see that Andrea is a German speaker. Andrea's actually from Switzerland. She speaks German. Now, I hope that we can also bring onto the video, we've got Maurizio. Maurizio, buongiorno, come stai?
Ciao, tutto bene. E tu, Mark?
Benissimo, grazie. So Maurizio is an Italian speaker, and he's going to be helping us with this round too. Now, we should also be able to bring in Anabel. Hola, Anabel, ¿cómo estás?
Hola Marc, muy bien. ¿Y tú?
Estoy súper bien. Muchas gracias. As you can hear, Anabel is a Spanish speaker. So we've got a German speaker, an Italian speaker, a Spanish speaker, and we also need for this round a French speaker. So hopefully, if I press the right button here, we can be joined by Pierre Benoit. Bonjour Pierre Benoit.
Bonjour Marc, comment vas-tu aujourd'hui?
Très bien, et toi?
Ma foi, très très bien, oui, très content.
Excellent. Okay, so as we said, we're going to put the question on the screen and we're going to hear each of our speakers saying the answer, okay? And you'll hear it twice each time. So we're going to begin in German, then in Italian, then in Spanish, and then in French. Now, it's important, regardless of which language you've been learning, that you listen to all of the languages, because sometimes there might be clues, there might be words in the other language. You may not necessarily know that language, but you might pick up some clues. And it's also really, really important that you don't talk during this round. So make sure you're listening very carefully. Are we all ready? Andrea, bist du fertig?
Ja, ich bin bereit.
Okay. Maurizio, tutto bene?
Sì, sono prontissimo.
Ok, Annabelle, ¿estás lista?
Preparada.
Y Pierre Benoit, tu es prêt?
Moi, je suis toujours prêt, Marc.
Okay, let's then begin with our first question. So the answers, the possible answers are on the screen. Let us hear the statement from each of our friends here. So Andrea, can you hear this number one in German, please?
Ich sehe gern Videos auf YouTube.
Okay.
Ich sehe gern Videos auf YouTube.
Okay, so let's hear the same statement in Italian, Maurizio.
Mi piace guardare I video su YouTube. Mi piace guardare I video su YouTube.
Okay, let's hear it in Spanish, Anabel.
Me gusta ver vídeos en YouTube. Me gusta ver vídeos en YouTube.
And finally in French, Pierre Benoit.
J'aime regarder des vidéos YouTube. J'aime regarder des vidéos YouTube.
Excellent. Let's move on to our next question. The question again is, what does this mean in English? And you have three possibilities here. And these possibilities are A, did you understand? B, sorry, I don't understand. Or C, sorry, I can't hear you. So let's hear this statement in German first of all.
Entschuldigung, ich verstehe das nicht. Entschuldigung, ich verstehe das nicht.
Danke. Okay, Maurizio in Italian.
Scusa, non ho capito. Scusa, non ho capito.
Let's hear it in Spanish, Anabel.
Lo siento, no comprendo. Lo siento, no comprendo.
And in French, Pierre Benoit.
Désolé, je ne comprends pas. Désolé, je ne comprends pas.
Okay, let us move on to our next question. This is number 3. Now, the question here, or the statement that you're looking at, is the speaker is English, true or false. So on your question paper, simply write down true or false. Let's hear about this person. So Andrea, can you introduce this person?
Ich bin Irin und wohne in Dublin. Ich bin Irin und wohne in Dublin.
Over to you, Maurizio.
Sono irlandese e abito a Dublino. Sono irlandese e abito a Dublino.
Let's hear the same thing in Spanish, please, Anabel.
Soy irlandesa y vivo en Dublín. Soy irlandesa y vivo en Dublín.
And in French, Pierre Benoit?
Je suis irlandais et j'habite à Dublin. Je suis irlandais et j'habite à Dublin.
Excellent. Okay, let's move on to question number 4. And once again, we're asking, what does this mean in English? Okay, so you're listening to a question this time, and we'll hear it once again in German, Italian, Spanish, and French. So over to you, Andrea, for this question.
Wo ist das Café? Wo ist das Café?
Maurizio?
Dov'è il bar? Dov'è il bar?
Spanish?
¿Dónde está la cafetería? ¿Dónde está la cafetería?
And French?
Où est le café? Où est le café?
Okay, great. It's on to number 5. And again, we're asking you, what does this mean in English? We'll hear something in each of the languages, starting with German, Andrea.
Heute ist es sehr kalt. Heute ist es sehr kalt.
And over to you, Maurizio, for Italian.
Fa molto freddo oggi. Fa molto freddo oggi.
Let's hear the same thing in Spanish, Annabelle.
Hace mucho frío hoy. Hace mucho frío hoy.
And last but not least in French, please.
Il fait très froid aujourd'hui. Il fait très froid aujourd'hui.
Okay. Now, in the next sentence, we're going to be hearing about Sam. And each of our speakers is going to pretend to be Sam and talk about a particular language. So the question is, what language does Sam speak at home? So let's listen to this sentence. Andrea.
Ich spreche zu Hause Rumänisch. Ich spreche zu Hause Rumänisch.
And in Italian?
Parlo rumeno a casa. Parlo rumeno a casa.
And Annabelle for Spanish?
Hablo rumano en casa. Hablo rumano en casa.
And French?
Chez moi, je parle le roumain. Chez moi, je parle le roumain.
Okay. Moving on to question number 7. The question is, how does this person describe their friend? So you're listening carefully to hear a description of someone here. Let's begin with German.
Mein Freund hat blaue Augen. Mein Freund hat blaue Augen.
And now on to Italian.
Il mio migliore amico ha gli occhi azzurri. Il mio migliore amico ha gli occhi azzurri.
Let's hear the same thing in Spanish.
Mi mejor amigo tiene los ojos azules. Mi mejor amigo tiene los ojos azules.
And finally in French.
Mon meilleur ami a les yeux bleus. Mon meilleur ami a les yeux bleus.
Okay, so we would like you to write down how this person describes their friend, and we're looking for one thing there. Okay, let's move on to question 8. What kind of pet would this person like? So listen out for some animals in here, okay? Let's begin with German.
Ich hätte gern ein Haustier. Ich mag Vögel, aber keine Katzen. Ich hätte gern ein Haustier. Ich mag Vögel, aber keine Katzen.
Maurizio, for Italian, please.
Vorrei avere un animale domestico. Adoro gli uccelli, ma non mi piacciono i gatti. Vorrei avere un animale domestico. Adoro gli uccelli, ma non mi piacciono i gatti.
Okay, let's hear it in Spanish, Annabel.
Me gustaría tener una mascota. Me encantan los pájaros, pero no me gustan los gatos. Me gustaría tener una mascota. Me encantan los pájaros, pero no me gustan los gatos.
And in French, please.
Je voudrais avoir un animal de compagnie. J'aime les oiseaux, mais je n'aime pas les chats. Je voudrais avoir un animal de compagnie. J'aime les oiseaux, mais je n'aime pas les chats.
Excellent. Okay, quite a tricky one, that one. Let us move on to our next question. This is number 9. And in question 9, we're asking, what does the teacher say we will learn about today? Okay, so you're listening out for a school subject. Okay, let's hear it first of all from Andrea in German.
Heute lernen wir etwas über europäische Geographie. Heute lernen wir etwas über europäische Geographie.
Let's hear it in Italian from Maurizio.
Oggi impareremo della geografia europea. Oggi impareremo della geografia europea.
And in Spanish from Annabel.
Hoy aprenderemos sobre la geografía europea. Hoy aprenderemos sobre la geografía europea.
And finally in French from Pierre Benoit.
Aujourd'hui, on apprend la géographie européenne. Aujourd'hui, on apprend la géographie européenne.
Okay, and the final question in this part of the round, and this is another question that you're going to write down the answer to. The question is, what does this person order for lunch in the cafeteria? So you're listening out for some food type things here. Let's hear first of all from Andrea in German.
Ich hätte gern Tomatensuppe und ein Käsebrot. Ich hätte gern Tomatensuppe und ein Käsebrot.
Okay, let's hear in Italian.
Per favore, vorrei la zuppa di pomodoro e un panino al formaggio. Per favore, vorrei la zuppa di pomodoro e un panino al formaggio.
Let's hear it in Spanish.
¿Puedo tomar una sopa de tomate y un bocadillo de queso, por favor? ¿Puedo tomar una sopa de tomate y un bocadillo de queso, por favor?
And last but not least, in French with Pierre Benoit.
Je prends de la soupe à la tomate et un sandwich au fromage, s'il vous plaît. Je prends de la soupe à la tomate et un sandwich au fromage, s'il vous plaît.
Okay, so you're writing down what that person is ordering for lunch in the cafeteria. Now, that is the end of this first part of our language round. There's still another part to go, but for that, you're going to be doing some reading. So it's now time to say goodbye and thank you to our friends. But I think we should do this in the languages that they speak. So first of all, I'll make sure you know how to say this in the language, and then we'll say goodbye to each of them one by one. So first of all, let's say thank you in French. So repeating after me, merci et au revoir. Thank you and goodbye. Everyone together, merci et au revoir. Merci et au revoir, Pierre Benoit.
C'est moi qui vous remercie. Au revoir, à la prochaine.
And now let's say it in Spanish. So we're going to say gracias y adiós to Annabelle. Let's try saying that all together. Gracias y adiós. Gracias y adiós. And now let's try it in Italian. So to say thank you and goodbye in Italian, we can say grazie e arrivederci. That's quite tricky. Let's try it again. Grazie e arrivederci. Ciao Maurizio, grazie.
Grazie a voi, ciao ciao.
And finally in German. So we're going to say thank you and goodbye. Danke und auf Wiedersehen. Again, quite tricky that one. So danke und auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss, Andrea, danke.
Tschüss, danke euch.
Thank you all very much. We'll see you again soon. Okay, so it's now time to move on to the next part of round 2, and that is the written part of this round. What's going to happen is that you are going to read a passage that is on your and your question papers, and then we're going to put the questions on the screen, and you're going to have 6 minutes to answer this part of the test. So I'll put this on the screen now, and you have 6 minutes to work through this round. Good luck. Okay, that is the end of round 2. As we've explained, you should now hand your answer sheet to your teacher, and we're going to take you through the answers for the language round. Once again, remember that you're under strict Euroquiz conditions and you can't make any changes to your paper at this point. Let's take a look then at the answers for round 2. To begin with, we asked you what this person likes to do, and this person said that they like to watch YouTube videos. Okay, that's what they said in each of the languages. So that was question 1. Question 2, again, what did this person say? And the correct answer here is B. Sorry, I don't understand. Question 3, we asked the speaker, is English true or false? The answer is false. They are actually Irish. So you heard the word for Irish in each of the 4 languages. Number 4, we asked you, what does this mean in English? And the phrase that you were looking for is, where is the cafe? And that was the phrase you heard in German, Italian, Spanish, and French. Question number 5. The question was, again, what does this mean in English? And the answer, it's very cold today. A weather forecast. It's very cold today. Question number 6. What language does Sam speak at home? Well, Sam at home speaks Romanian. Question 7. How does this person describe their friend? So the correct description is, my best friend has blue eyes, or my friend has blue eyes. The blue eyes part is the key part there. Question 8. What kind of pet would this person like? So the kind of pet that they would like was a bird. They actually mentioned cats too, but they said that they didn't like cats, so they would like a bird. Question 9. What does the teacher say we'll learn about today? We'll learn about European geography today. Okay, and question 10. What does this person order for lunch in the cafeteria? Well, they had ordered tomato soup and a cheese sandwich. Sounds good. Moving on then to the reading part of the language round. The next question, Andrew goes swimming once a week. Was that true or false? The correct answer there is false. In fact, Andrew goes swimming twice a week. Let's look at the next question. Where does Andrew live? And the correct thing that you should have circled was in a flat or an apartment. And then the next question asked you, name one thing that Martin likes to do. And you could have had either reading or drawing. So question 14. What does Andrew like to do with his friends when the weather is good? Andrew likes to play football with his friends. And the last question in the language round, what does Andrew do sometimes, or where does Andrew go sometimes with his grandmother? He sometimes goes to the museum. So that is the end of round 2, and we hope that you have enjoyed this round. It's now time to move on to round 3. So this round is all about understanding Europe, and we're going to be looking at culture and European affairs. As ever, there are 15 questions. You're going to be writing the answers down on your answer sheet. If it's a multiple choice question, simply write A, B or C, or write the full word if it is a non-multiple choice question. Let's get straight on with this round, and we'll begin with question 1. So, what is recognised as the first official language of the Republic of Ireland? Is it A, English, B, Ulster Scots, or C, Irish Gaelic? What is recognised as the first official language of the Republic of Ireland? Is it A, English, B, Ulster Scots, or C, Irish Gaelic? Moving on to question 2. A Spanish community voted to achieve their independence in 2017. Barcelona and Andorra are part of this region as well. What is the name of this region? Is it A, Catalonia, B, Galicia, or C, the Basque Country? So the Spanish community voted to achieve their independence in 2017. Barcelona and Andorra are part of this region too. What is the name of the region? Is it A, Catalonia, B, Galicia, or C, the Basque Country? Let's move on to question 3. Which country celebrates National Sleepy Day, Unikeon Paiva, where the laziest person of the family is woken up and thrown in the nearest river, lake, or sea? Okay, is it A, Finland, B, Sweden, or C, Iceland? So, which country celebrates National Sleepy Day, Unikeon Paiva, where the laziest person of the family is woken up and thrown in the nearest river, lake, or sea? Is it A, Finland, B, Sweden, or C, Iceland? Let's look at question 4. The Magyars make up the largest ethnic group in which country? Is it A, Cyprus, B, Poland, or C, Hungary? The Magyars make up the largest ethnic group in which country? Cyprus, Poland, or Hungary? Number 5. In 1962, 6 European countries launched CAP, the Common Agricultural Policy. What was the purpose of the policy? Was it A, to import more food from outside of Europe? B, to produce more food in Europe after the Second World War? Or C, to have stricter restrictions on farmers? So, what was the purpose of the Common Agricultural Policy introduced in 1962? Was it A, to import more food from outside of Europe? B, to produce more food in Europe after the Second World War? Or C, to have stricter restrictions on farmers? Let's move on to question 6. Moussaka and keftedes are famous dishes from which country? A, Germany, B, Greece, or C, the Netherlands? Moussaka and keftedes are famous dishes from which country? A, Germany, B, Greece, or C, the Netherlands? Okay, time for question 7. Which style of art is represented by these images? A, contemporary, B, Renaissance, or C, Romanticism? Again, which style of art is represented by these images? A, contemporary, B, Renaissance, or C, Romanticism? Let's move on to question 8. Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom was inspired by A, Bavarian castle, B, French chateau, or C, Scottish castle? So which of these inspired Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom? Was it A, a Bavarian castle, B, a French chateau, or C, a Scottish castle? Question 9. Pastel de nata, a custard tart, is a dessert specific to which country? Is it A, Spain, B, Portugal, or C, Hungary? Pastel de nata, custard tart, is a dessert specific to which country? A, Spain, B, Portugal, or C, Hungary? Question 10. Which of the following statements best describes what global warming means today? Is it A, the polar regions are melting, B, corals are growing faster, or C, there are fewer wildfires? Which of these statements best describes what global warming means today? A, the polar regions are melting, B, corals are growing faster, or C, there are fewer wildfires? Let's move on to question 11. The script, villagers, and you two are music groups from which country? The script, villagers, and you two are music groups from which country? Question 12. These pictures represent which East European country? Is it A, Sweden, B, Romania, or C, Hungary? These pictures represent which East European country? Is it Sweden, Romania, or Hungary? Let's move on to question 13. Which organisation was the forerunner to the European Union and was set up in 1951? Was it A, the European Federation, B, the European Coal and Steel Community, or C, the Council of Europe? Which organisation was the forerunner to the European Union and was set up in 1951? A, the European Federation, B, the European Coal and Steel Community, or C, the Council of Europe? Question 14. In which country do people nod to say no and shake their heads to say yes? Is it A, Poland, B, Croatia, or C, Bulgaria? In which country do people nod to say no and shake their heads to say yes? Is it A, Poland, B, Croatia, or C, Bulgaria? And time for the final question in this round. Question 15. The current president of the European Commission is pictured here. What is her name? So write down the name of the current president of the European Commission, pictured here. And that brings us to the end of round 3. So, as usual, you now need to hand your answer sheets to the teacher and it will take you through the answers. And don't forget, you're still under strict Euroquiz conditions and you cannot now make any changes to your paper. So let's go through the answers for round 3. Number 1, we asked you what is recognised as the first official language of the Republic of Ireland, and the correct answer there is Irish Gaelic. Question 2. A Spanish community voted to achieve their independence in 2017. That community is Catalunya. Question 3. Which country celebrates Unique on Paiva? And the country that celebrates that National Sleepy Day is Finland, A. Question 4. The Magyars make up the largest ethnic group in which country? And there is actually a clue here. If you've ever seen a Hungarian stamp, you'll see the word Magyar on it. It means Hungary in Hungarian, and therefore the answer is C, Hungary. Question number 5. In 1962, the 6 European countries launched the Common Agricultural Policy, and the purpose of that was to produce more food in Europe after the Second World War. That's B. So that's 5B. Question 6. Moussaka and keftedes are famous dishes from Greece. B. 6B. Question 7. Which style of art is represented by these images? It is contemporary art. A. 7A. Question 8. Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom was inspired, in fact, by a Bavarian castle. And the name of that castle on the left there is Neuschwanstein, a fantastic place in the south of Germany, in Bavaria. So that was A. 8A. Question 9. Pastel de nata is a custard tart specific to Portugal. B, Portugal. So pastel de nata is Portuguese and it's very, very tasty. Question 10. Which of these statements best describes what global warming means today? It means that the polar regions are melting. 10A. Question 11. The script, villagers and you two are music groups from Ireland. That's 11, Ireland. Question 12. These pictures represent which East European country? Well, they represent Romania. B, 12B. Question 13. Which organisation was the forerunner to the European Union? Set up in 1951, it was B, the European Coal and Steel Community. Question 14. In which country do people nod to say no and shake their heads to say yes? The correct answer there is C, Bulgaria. And question 15. Who is this? The current president of the European Commission, and it is Ursula von der Leyen. And that's the end of round 3. And we've gone through all the answers for that round. So it's now time to move on to round 4, our final round of the quiz. So this is the round in which your general knowledge is tested, your knowledge of all things European. It could be anything this time round. As ever, there are 15 questions. We're going to go through each question one by one. Let's start with question number 1. In which city will the next Eurovision Song Contest take place? And that's in 2021. In which city will the 2021 Eurovision Song Contest take place? So write down the name of that city. Question 2. What is the name of this type of whale that can often be spotted in Shetland? What is the name of this type of whale that can often be spotted in Shetland? Question 3. Luc Abalo, star of the French national team, is pictured here playing which sport? Luc Abalo, star of the French national team, is pictured here playing which sport? Question 4. In which city was the current global agreement on climate change signed in 2015? Was it A, Paris, B, Berlin, or C, Rome? In which city was the current global agreement on climate change signed in 2015? A, Paris, B, Berlin, or C, Rome? Question 5. Who was named BBC Sports Personality of the Year in 2020? Who was named BBC Sports Personality of the Year 2020? Let's move on to question 6. The famous astronomer Copernicus, who discovered that the sun, rather than the earth, is at the centre of the universe, was originally from which country? Was he from A, Poland, B, Greece, or C, Italy? From which country was Copernicus? And Copernicus discovered that the sun, rather than the earth, is at the centre of the universe. So where was he from? A, Poland, B, Greece, or C, Italy? Let's move on to question 7. What currency is used in Estonia? Question 7. What currency is used in Estonia? Question 8. The Öresund Bridge connects Copenhagen to which Swedish city? The Öresund Bridge connects Copenhagen to which Swedish city? Is it A, Stockholm, B, Malmö, or C, Helsingborg? The Öresund Bridge connects Copenhagen to which Swedish city? A, Stockholm, B, Malmö, or C, Helsingborg? Question 9. Duona means bread in which language? Duona means bread in which language? Let's move on to question 10. What did Spanish military engineer Emilio Herrera Linares invent? Was it A, the spacesuit, B, anti-aging cream, or C, the internet? What did Spanish military engineer Emilio Herrera Linares invent? A, the spacesuit, B, anti-aging cream, or C, the internet? Question 11. Who is the Swedish singer pictured here? Who is the Swedish singer pictured here? Moving on to question 12. In which city is the official seat of the European Parliament located? In which city is the official seat of the European Parliament located? Let's move on to question 13. What do all Scandinavian currencies have in common? That's Norway, Denmark and Sweden. Is it A, they're all called crowns, krona or krone? B, they use euros? Or C, they use the same currency? So what do all Scandinavian currencies have in common? The currencies of Norway, Denmark and Sweden. Is it A, the fact that they're all called crowns, krona or krone? B, they use euros? Or C, they use the same currency? Question 14. Around 80% of all flower bulbs sold in the world are grown in which country? And it's time for our final question of this round and the final question of the quiz. Number 15. The brand Nestlé is from which country? The brand Nestlé is from which country? Okay, that is the end of round 4 and the end of our quiz. Once again, please hand your answer sheet to your teacher and we'll go through the answers for this round. But again, you cannot make any changes to your paper now because you're under strict Euroquiz conditions. Let's move on then to the answers for round 4. Here goes. Question number 1. In which city will the next Eurovision Song Contest take place? It will take place in the Netherlands in the city of Rotterdam. Okay, number 2. What is the name of this type of whale that can often be spotted in Shetland? This is a killer whale or an orca. Question 3. Lucas Ballot, the star of the French national team, is pictured here playing handball. Question 4. In which city was the current global agreement on climate change signed? It was signed in A, Paris. So that's 4A. Question 5. Who was named BBC Sports Personality of the Year 2020? A little clue there in the picture. It was Lewis Hamilton. Question 6. The famous astronomer Copernicus was originally from Poland. A. That's 6A. Question 7. Which currency is used in Estonia? Well, in Estonia, like many other parts of Europe, they use the euro. Question 8. The Öresund Bridge connects Copenhagen to which Swedish city? It connects it to Malmö, just over the water. And I have to say that is a really cool bridge because it starts as a tunnel. You leave one country, Denmark, you go into the tunnel and then you come up onto the bridge. You can see it there on the image. And you're all of a sudden in a different country, in Sweden, in Malmö. Very cool. Question 8. So 8B, Malmö. Question 9. Duona means bread in which language? It is Lithuanian. Question 10. What did Spanish military engineer Emilio Herrera Linares invent? He invented A, the spacesuit. Question 11. Who is the Swedish singer pictured here? It is, of course, Zara Larsson. Question 12. In which city is the official seat of the European Parliament located? It is in Strasbourg in France. Question 13. What do all Scandinavian currencies have in common? And the fact is they are all called crowns. A. So 13A. Question 14. Around 80% of all flower bulbs sold in the world are grown in the Netherlands. And our final question. The brand Nestle is from which country? The brand Nestle is from Switzerland. Well, that brings us to the end of the Euroquiz, and I hope you've enjoyed taking part, and I hope you've enjoyed taking the opportunity to show what you've been learning. The one really important message I would want you to take away from this is the fact that, yes, doing well is really important, but the most important thing, I think, is all of the things that you've learned, all the facts, all the knowledge that you have acquired to take part in the Euroquiz will never, ever go wrong. Everything that you learn is a useful thing, and you never know when it might come in useful, whether that's a word for a particular thing in a different language, or whether it's about a capital city, a river, a bridge, a famous person. All of these are really important things to know, and you never know when you're going to need to know them. So any learning that you do is always very useful. Thank you for taking part. I hope you've enjoyed it. I really enjoyed doing this with you. And I'll pass you back now to Jane, who has got a few final words to share. Thanks, Jane.
Congratulations to you all for taking part in the 2021 Euroquiz Heats. We know just how much work you've all put into preparing for the event today, both at home and in school, so well done for that. We look forward to receiving your answer papers and scores and announcing the 2021 Euroquiz finalists. Before we go, we'd like to say a very special thank you to our digital quizmaster, Mark from Radiolingua and Coffee Break Languages, for taking us through the questions today. We're also grateful for continued support from the Scottish Government and from the Gannachie Trust towards Euroquiz in 2021. From all of us at SEAT, cheers!
Ciao.
Tschüss.
Ciao!
Adios!
Salut!
Thank you very much, and goodbye.